Hello, I'd like to talk to you about my history using film. So I started in photography when I was about 18 years old, and this was in 1970. And I started working at camera stores at the time when they were rolling out the German cameras in favor of the Japanese cameras. So anyway, I started off borrowing cameras and checking out cameras from the camera stores I worked at. My initial photographic hero was Ansel Adams, and I think that that's not an too familiar thing that people would say who started in photography, especially landscape photography. So I started off with film, and I didn't enter the digital world until, of course, around 2004 or so. So I actually had, from 1970 to 2004, quite a library of film images. So I would like to share some of those with you and discuss a few of the thoughts that I have on the history in film that I had. I worked at several photographic specialty stores and departments in the 1970s, managing 3. Race Cameras was the first. I managed 2 stores for a small chain store and a department for a catalog showroom. I shot, developed, and printed my own black and whites. This is my brother, now a retired deputy sheriff, and that's my car. Not knowing the proper name for these, I called them paratrooper mushrooms. They were on a log in the Olympic National Park. I've spent a lot of time on, in, and around Puget Sound. The pilings were in Port Orchard. And this private lighthouse, what is left of it anyway, is on Fox Island. This is from my first visit to the west side of Vancouver Island, British Columbia. This is 3 guys and a haze from cooking bacon at the beach cabin. I took this with an Argus C3. These guys probably could not appreciate the effort to guess the exposure for this indoor scene, and everything about the camera was manual. It had no light meter. Bacon Haze, this old homestead on the Olympic Peninsula, and the next one, Mount Rainier Through Trees, were all taken on Kodachrome slide film, my favorite photographic film medium, and sadly never to be enjoyed again unless the film is brought back to life. I drove down the coastline to California's Redwood Forest. This was on Kodak color negative film. Unfortunately, the processing was not good. This is a kayaker surfing a standing tidal wave on Skookumchuck Narrows in British Columbia. This is a film time exposure of Lower Comet Falls in Mount Rainier National Park, using no tripod, just a rock. I did sometimes use a tripod, but not really very often. Eventually I expanded my equipment ownership. This was my first telephoto lens. Too bad the bald eagles were too far away. And this is me setting up a shot on an ocean beach. This is a later shot of me with a digital camera. I was expected to take a software programming class in Seattle, but when I saw the lifting fog, I played hooky and got these 2 shots of an old ferry and 2 trawler-style pleasure boats. This and the next flower images were taken in the 1970s on Kodachrome slide film. This I call Beach Stick. It was taken on a beach near La Push on the Washington coast and was totally impromptu. It is one of my favorites of my own collection. This is Big Sur along California's coastline. Unknown to me at the time, Ansel Adams stood at the same point decades earlier. His image is similarly composed, though I had no idea his existed at the time. Another time exposure of a waterfall, this one on a backpack trip. It's about 18 miles from the nearest road. I call it No Name Falls because I didn't see a name on the map. Thanks for watching. See you next time.